There's a special kind of horror that happens when the monster isn't outside your door. It's already in your house, watching, listening, waiting for the perfect moment to step out of the dark.
That brings us to Daniel LaPlante, teenager, break-in artist, would-be psychic prankster, and eventually something much, much worse. But before the murders, before the headlines, he was basically doing the real-life version of frogging. Hiding inside people's homes, rearranging things, moving through crawl spaces, becoming the ghost you can hear, but never see.
And if that already feels like a horror movie, that's because it basically is. People compare LaPlante's early behavior to Black Christmas, the original, the one where the killer is already upstairs, breathing heavy, taunting the sorority with those phone calls.
Which raises a really uncomfortable question for this case. Was LaPlante inspired by the film? Did he model himself after Billy, the hidden man in the attic? Or did he just stumble into the same nightmare on his own?
Because what he did wasn't just breaking and entering. It wasn't even just frogging. It was psychological warfare. He'd watch families sleep. He'd leave objects in new places. Sometimes he'd just stare from behind the vents.
And then there was the Andrews family, the seance prank, the escalating signs that someone or something was inside their home. Until the night they discovered LaPlante standing in their daughter's bedroom in her mother's clothes, holding a wrench and a hatchet.
It's the horror cliche we all know. The call is coming from inside the house. But in this case, it wasn't a call. It was a kid.
A kid who was living in the walls.
And that's just the beginning of why this episode is so dark.
Because whatever he was before, he didn't stay that way.
Tonight, we're not just talking about the true crime case. We're talking about the moment a boy hiding in the walls became something far worse.
Because the scariest part of Black Christmas isn't the killer. It's how easy it is for real life to follow the script. Welcome to the Fear Archive, where we hunt the stories that shouldn't be possible, but are.
Before we dive in, a little housekeeping. If you're enjoying the Fear Archive, make sure you're following the show, leaving a review, and sharing us with that one friend that loves a good nightmare before Christmas. It really helps us keep digging into the dark stuff.
And a content warning up front. This episode includes a discussion of violence against women and sexual assault. Please take care of yourself. Skip this one if you need to.
Because tonight's story, let's just say holiday fear isn't all cracked ornaments and burnt cookies.
Yeah, think of it as your seasonal jeer. A reminder that sometimes the scariest things in the house ain't the tree, but the motherfucker hiding behind it.
You're listening to the Fear Archive, where we peel back the films that haunt us.
And the real cases that prove some horrors don't stay on the screen. So let's get into it, shall we?
The story of Danny LaPlante. Daniel J. LaPlante was born in 1970 in Townsend, Massachusetts, a small wooded town north of Boston. He grew up in an unstable and often abusive household. By his mid-teens, he had developed a pattern of obsessive behavior, break-ins, and voyeurism that escalated over time.
In 1986, LaPlante targeted the Bowen family. The family consisted of a father and his two daughters, Tina, 15, and a younger sister, Karen. Their mother had recently died of cancer, leaving the household heavy with grief and quiet. That quiet, it became something that Danny would exploit.
Tina had briefly met LaPlante through a mutual acquaintance, but she had no reason to take him seriously. To LaPlante, however, that interaction was enough to spark his fixation. In the weeks that followed, the Bowen household began noticing disturbances. Objects moved, food disappeared, doors left ajar, and footsteps echoing when no one was present.
So the family initially attributed it to grief, distraction, or the normal creaks in an old New England home. But the truth was far more terrifying. So LaPlante had been secretly entering the home and creating hiding spaces in the walls and crawl spaces. He was observing, learning, and living undetected within the home itself.
The situation came to a head one night when Tina entered her bedroom and saw him. LaPlante was inside the room, wearing clothing that belonged to their deceased mother and smeared with her makeup. In his hands, a hatchet and a blunt tool similar to a wrench or a screwdriver.
Yeah, and the girls escaped, running to a neighbor's house. The police searched and eventually found Danny, hidden in a crawl space behind a closet. He'd been living in the walls, observing the Bowen family for days, possibly weeks, and he'd constructed a secret interior world within their home. It's fucking terrifying.
Inside the crawl spaces, officers found bedding, food remnants, and passages carved through the drywall. LaPlante has mapped out the house, moved silently, and integrated himself into the space. The ultimate violation of privacy.
So, Danny LaPlante was arrested and placed in juvenile custody. Remember, he's still a kid. In 1987, he escaped. Nothing good came from that. He went on to commit the murders that would define his legacy. So Priscilla Gustafson, a 33-year-old pregnant mother, and her two children, Abigail, and she was 7, and William, 5. Priscilla was shot with a .22 caliber pistol, and SA followed. The children were, Jesus Christ, drowned in separate bathtubs in the house. Fuck this guy. Jesus Christ. Horrible. This is a disgusting case. The crime shocked the community and cemented LaPlante's place in the annals of this bullshit.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like if the girls didn't escape the first time, that he probably would have. The intention was probably to kill them.
Yeah.
LaPlante was tried as an adult and sentenced to multiple life terms in 1988. He is currently incarcerated at MCI Norfolk, a medium security facility, and has repeatedly sought resentencing. All denied. He is unlikely to ever leave prison.
Thank fucking Christ. Yeah, so the Bowen intrusion shows the depth of this dickhead's obsession before his violent escalation. It wasn't just breaking in, it was living inside a grieving family's home, watching, listening, anticipating, perfecting a pattern that would culminate in murder.
This behavior is now referred to as frogging. PHROGGING, named for frogging because of the way perpetrators hop from house to house, often living undetected in occupied homes.
And while the term is recent, the behavior is older, much older. People living in attics, crawl spaces, and walls, these have been documented for decades. Some cases are benign, others more dangerous, as we have with LaPlante. And, his case represents the more extreme examples of a frogger. Those who've actually become murderers.
From a psychological standpoint, frogging is invasive and controlling. It's violence without immediate physical confrontation, an erosion of safety, ownership, and trust within a home.
And LaPlante's version, it wasn't just survival or curiosity, it was fixation. This dude was obsessed. Obsession. A rehearsal for murder.
And here's where the intersection of crime and cinema becomes unsettling. Did LaPlante take his cues from a film?
Specifically, Bob Clark's 1974 film, Black Christmas. Killer living unseen in the attic, making phone calls from inside the house, observing young women, navigating a house as if it were his own map. Don't tell them what we did, Agnes! I'll do more really weird, fucked up voices later on.
Usually on the Fear Archive, we analyze how films reflect real crimes. Tonight, the conversation's a little reversed. Reality may have been influenced by fiction, a rare flip of inspiration.
And that's the story of Danny LaPlante. Frogging, obsession, the call coming from inside the house in more ways than one.
Let me just preface this with, I actually kind of make a joke. I didn't know that this guy actually murdered people. I didn't know about this true crime. But I kind of always make a joke that it's the boy in the attic.
Right.
When people are at the house and they're like, "Oh, what was that noise?" And I go, "Oh, it's just the boy in the crawl space." I make that joke often because I like to scare people.
It's Rat Boy!
But I mean,
Sweet Rat
learning
Boy.
about this, it's kind of like, oh, people do that though. Personally, I am so observant that I would notice anything misplaced. So for all my friends listening, there is no boy in the attic or crawl space.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could live in my house, too. I just don't have enough space. Oh, boy. But I feel like it could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting thinking about kind of what I said earlier. Like, do you think he would have killed the girls and the father if they didn't get away?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I believe that too. I mean, he had a weapon.
I think
in
he
his
was
hand.
ready to. He was like hard as the Dickens and ready to go that night. He was. He is still a disgusting human being. I'm sure he's probably got limited access to these things, but I hope you hear it, Danny. You suck. I am sure that he was absolutely ready to do horrible things that night, and he was stopped. There was another serial killer who they let go, who we've never fully been able to corroborate the true ramifications of not ramifications, the true extent of his crimes. This guy Nathaniel Barjona, who is fucking nightmare fuel. I don't even know if we can make an episode around this guy, but someone should. But again, someone who the state sort of passed along. They actually sent him to Montana, where he may have been a prolific cannibal in that state. That's where he really got his flair for that. Yeah, yeah. Well, you look into this guy. He's a complete. I don't want to sidetrack too much, but look that guy up. You won't sleep for a week.
Yeah, thinking about that, I mean, thinking about his early behaviors with like breaking in and stalking and hiding in the walls, like, do you think there's like any foreshadowing to like an escalation to the triple homicide? Like, how did they not see that happening or coming? You know, because there was nothing physical happening. I don't know.
Right, too, and you'd think they'd be hyper vigilant about this stuff too, because this was the height of the satanic panic, you know, like or maybe not that, you know, this was that, yeah, a little bit, right? You know, like what the fuck? And this guy went on to like literally do the crimes that they were scared about.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And then, like, what does it say about his like mindset that he chose a pregnant woman and two small children as his victims?
he's a coward.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a coward, disgusting pig. Yeah, and I know he's still out there. And he's still alive.
What was it? 3 counts or 4 counts? Did they count?
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I would imagine they would have to have counted as four, right? Like, I mean, I know.
I know, and I mean,
fuck this guy. I really,
well,
I
know,
hate you,
I mean,
Danny.
he was 17 at the time when he committed the murders, so he was technically juvenile, right?
He's a kid. He's a kid. You're child.
But when you look at like how heinous the crimes are that he actually committed,
and his intent too. We always talk about intent, right? Like
exactly.
this dude, his dry run, his dry run was living in the walls of the Bowen family's home.
Yeah,
Like
so
that was his.
I don't like to get too political sometimes, it could be a lot. But I mean, how do we balance juvenile justice reform with the brutality and intentions of his crimes? Because, yeah, I mean, not, it's not,
I don't think that
I don't want to say
existed at that.
normal, but, you go ahead.
No, I just don't think that there was a thought to rehabilitate at that time. Like
Yeah.
it was just sort of like lock away,
Mm-hmm.
or pass to the next place.
Yeah.
Like, I should probably give more context to the person that I mentioned before, Nathaniel
Mm-hmm.
Barjona. But Nathaniel Barjona was a man in his 20s at the time when he was living in Massachusetts, who was essaying young boys, and he got caught a whole bunch of times, and they just kind of kept saying, no, don't do that. And at one point, they put him in Bridgewater Hospital, which has got its own horrible history. And another, eventually they said, just leave the state. And they sent him he moved with his mother to live in Montana, where he ended up actually becoming a serial killer of children.
Of
Um,
course.
what,
I mean,
what,
I feel like
so
it's always like that. It's like the signs are all there. I mean, I think also with him, with
with Danny, yeah,
LaPlante. I mean, the
this
signs
guy
were
was
there.
like,
You
he,
found him in deceased mother's makeup and outfit, holding a hatchet, and you're not gonna
a
do
pipe,
anything about
a
it.
wrench.
Yeah,
This
it
dude
just
was
seems.
clearly like an inspirational movie monster. I don't need to
I
say that.
mean,
He's not
no,
inspirational. He's a coward.
but I mean,
But
what are we looking at here? It's a little crazy, right?
oh yeah,
We're not gonna do any like sort of like. Well, I don't know. I can't say if they didn't try to do anything 'cause I don't know that. I don't know the actual facts behind that. I didn't see anything, but
yeah. There's not a lot of writing about this one.
yeah,
This one is like there's so much conjecture around the Danny LaPlante case.
yeah,
They made a whole bunch of like made for TV kind of docu series.
mm-hmm,
One that actually calls it the real Nightmare on Elm Street, which is absolute horseshit. It's not Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not Freddy. This is probably creepier because this could actually happen because Freddy's not real. That can't happen. But you got home invasion, you got grief, you got isolation, you got so much stuff that's just like part of life, right? Like home invasion, hopefully it's not part of everyday life, but like we all deal
mm-hmm,
with grief and isolation, right? Like I can't say that it's like nobody's at fault. Like the victims are never at fault, but like the victims are certainly not at fault in the fact that like, they're going through something really
mm-hmm,
horrible and there's weird shit happening in their house. How could they not just think it's like everything bad going on in their life right now playing up, causing them to think that something's going
yeah,
on? And this guy totally keyed into that, which again shows intent. Like this guy, I don't think Danny LaPlante this is not mental illness. I think Danny LaPlante was a very calculated uh, person. I think that he was just like waiting for this, like waiting for something. Like the girl whose mom is dying of cancer, I'm gonna like fixate on her because I know that I'm gonna bring my sick machinations into
mm-hmm.
this. Like it's
I
just
do want to I
sorry.
want to quickly correct myself, um, because they did put him in juvenile detention and he escaped. So I don't know what kind of juvenile center he was put in after they first discovered him in the walls. Um, but he escaped. How do you escape?
This was also a very strange era in the time of juvenile detention facilities and juvenile rehabilitation facilities. There is a great last podcast on the left episode about the Elan School, which was a school up in the Maine wilderness that set out initially to rehabilitate youngsters with criminal predilections, right? But whatever. He escaped.
Yeah. Um, I mean, yeah, so he escaped, he committed the crimes, but so do you think someone with this level of violence as a minor should even be considered for parole even decades later?
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
I agree with you. I mean,
I think if you
to
got it in you to do it,
to drown two children is
two separate bathtubs in the house too.
yeah, is very disturbing, and I feel like that's a disturbed individual.
You're not going to change your ways. And I don't want you in society, even if you drowned two children in a bathtub, two separate bathtubs, when you were 17. I don't want you to re enter life ever. I want you to be locked in a box and stay there. There is no rehabilitation. You're not going to change. If you have it in you at 17 to do that, I think you will have it in you at 77 to do that. It's not a hot take. I am fully committed to saying you probably should be in prison for the rest of your life. I don't believe in the death penalty. I don't think you should be executed. I think you should sit with yourself and with the bullshit that you've done until you die.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. How do you think? How does fear, folklore, and urban legend influence how people remember LaPlante, especially the boy on the wall, right?
Well, he joins the folklore like after the folklore was already created, right? Like you had
Mm-hmm.
Bob Clark's Black Christmas, right, which we're going to talk
Mm-hmm.
about in a moment. But
Mm-hmm.
then you also had the film When a Stranger Calls. You had that lore of the babysitter getting the call, the heavy breather, right? Like this ties into Scream too. I mean,
Yeah,
like
I
right,
know.
like
I was
you
thinking that too. The caller is in the house.
yeah, the call is coming from inside the house, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I even they use it today in modern politics, right?
yeah.
This has always been there, and this is the. I remember reading about the story in scary stories to tell in the dark, right? Like with the Alvin
Mm-hmm.
Schwartz, kiddie folklore book, which is actually incredible. Uh, I think that the the lore already existed before LaPlante did it, he's
Yeah. You know what
was
I was also thinking connection when I was researching the case was how he became enamored by this girl and was obsessed with her. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of Ed Gein. Like how he just kind of saw women and fixated and I don't know. It was just
yeah, no, 100%, 100%. So should we get into the film?
So let's dig into Black Christmas, 1974, directed by Bob Clark, who some of our listeners might know as the guy behind A Christmas Story, which
Yeah.
is a huge tonal shift, am I right? From slasher horror to holiday nostalgia. But Clark brought us this really tense, claustrophobic approach to Black Christmas that still holds up.
Yeah. Also the guy who got Porky's. Yeah, it's interesting because Clark had already worked in horror with his film "Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things" that he wrote with Alan Ormsby, who he wrote "Deranged" with, which you could also learn more about on our episode about Ed Gein. But Black Christmas, it's like he distilled suburban dread. That feeling that someone violating the safe, quiet domestic space is just out there. And it's set during Christmas, which just heightens the unease, the juxtaposition of joy and terror.
Yeah, I love a holiday themed movie. And the cast is also amazing. Olivia Hussey recently passed in 2023. She's a central figure, Jess, the sorority girl who becomes the focus of the killer. She had already starred as Juliet in Franco Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet in 1968. Amazing range for a young actress. Then we have Keir Dullea, best known for 2001 Space Odyssey, playing somewhat ambiguous musical prodigy boyfriend, and Margot Kidder, who would go on to play Lois Lane in Superman and Kathy Lutz in the Amityville Horror.
Exactly. And you can see why the performances still resonate. They bring this naturalism that makes the terror feel real, credible. It's not just a monster movie. It's a house full of characters we feel like we can know, which I think makes the intrusion all the more upsetting and terrifying.
Yeah, it was really fun rewatching. I haven't seen this movie since I was young, but it was really fun watching it, and you know, all of the girls, the sorority girls in the movie, like you really, I don't know, they all had their own personality, and it wasn't so like, uh, how do I say it? Like caricature of women. It felt real and kind of yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I connected with it. But the production itself was also fascinating. They shot it on location in Toronto in this actual house that gave the film a very lived-in feeling. The house is so awesome. If you guys haven't seen the movie, watch it.
Yeah.
I want to be in the house.
Me too. I want to live there.
Without someone in the walls
Of
and attic.
course. Lots of space.
The cinematography by Reginald H. Morris is very deliberate. Lots of wide angle shots that emphasize the isolation and the shadows in the hallways, the ceilings and the vents. It's a blueprint for the killer in the house aesthetic.
And, Clark was inspired in part by actual crimes, which is fucking, a recurring theme in horror, especially, why we're doing this podcast. So the concept of the unseen stalker, someone inside the home, was bubbling in the 70s.
Peeping Tom.
Combine that,
Mhm.
combine that with the holiday horror, which, yes, existed in earlier films, but, Clark made it feel intimate, real. Unlike Halloween. By the way, this was before Halloween, folks. This film was before Halloween, okay? But there's something to say about Halloween and Bob Clark and John Carpenter I'm not going to get into here. Going to save it. But unlike Halloween, which leans heavily on Michael Myers' mythos, Black Christmas stays grounded. Black Christmas can happen.
Right. And it has left a huge legacy. So many films followed. Halloween, When a Stranger Calls, Hider in the House, even It Follows, in the same thematic sense. They owe a debt to its claustrophobic, someone is inside tension, and it practically invented the idea of a slasher in a domestic female centered environment.
And it inspired direct remakes too. There was the 2006 Black Christmas, which was directed by Glenn Morgan and Jim Wong, X-Files alum, who also directed the infamous Final Destination. And it took a much more violent and explicit approach than the 2019 version directed by Sophia Takal, um, which tried to layer in a feminist commentary on gendered violence. Both films render on they both riff rather on Clark's original tension and the feeling the threat is imminent and intimate and almost inevitable.
Yeah, the original is really smart about that. The killer's identity is never fully revealed until the climax. You see the holes in the walls, the distorted phone calls, and the shadows in the attic. It plays with the audience fear of the unseen. I know it creeps me out, but there's like a slow burn that makes the viewer complicit in the tension. You hear things before you see them. You're trapped in that sorority house with the girls.
And that's part of why it's considered seminal. The attic and the phone call motif, it's now slasher shorthand. Uh, it's inspired other media, music, videos, true crime documentaries, even horror comedy riffs. But Clark did it first, and he did it cleanly. There's also a weird meta element. The call from inside the house becomes a literal terror that resonates with our episode on Danny LaPlante.
Exactly. And that's which is a part of why it's so chilling when you connect fiction and reality. The idea that LaPlante may have been influenced by seeing the film, or at least by the film in its vein, is unsettling because it flips our usual understanding of inspiration. Usually, horror imitates life. Here, life may have imitated the horror.
And the attention to character and space is what keeps it relevant, right? Like Jess, Olivia Hussey in Black Christmas is smart, resourceful, not just a scream queen. Her interactions with the other sorority girls and the men in the house build tension in a very deliberate way. And the camera work, Morris's framing, it makes us hyper aware of every potential hiding spot. The attics, the vents, the closets, each space becomes a threat.
And the soundtrack by Carl Zitter is subtle but crucial. That mix of dissonant strings and eerie silence punctuates that feeling of being watched. I think really like all the music and the sounds and the sound design paired with all of the creepy watching scenes really, really got to me. It's almost like the house itself is alive and complicit in the stalking.
Yeah. Don't tell us. Don't tell them what we did, Agnes.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should talk about maybe for like a second, like what actually happens in the film.
That's where I'm getting with this because in Black Christmas, Billy, right? His name is Billy. Our killer's name is Billy. Whoever Billy is, we never meet Billy.
You actually never meet him. You never see him. You just like kind of see his eyeball and his shadows.
Yeah. And I mean, they go really, they make him like one of the stations in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey in the remake, in the Jim Wong and Glenn Morgan remake. They make him like this like dilapidated, deranged, like attic monster man.
You just see him like this.
He's like, Billy. But
in the film, they're getting ready to go away for Christmas break. So some of the girls are packing and they get a phone call and they're like, oh, it's that weirdo again. And they've consistently been getting. Yeah, they've been consistently. So they've consistently been getting phone calls that are like that. And it kind of sounds like someone's.
I have a sinus infection. I'm sorry.
It kind of sounds like someone on the other line is doing inappropriate things, right?
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And it's a male, but then they keep getting more phone calls and they're hearing a woman, and it almost sounds like someone might be like fighting for their life. You don't really know.
But should we get into like our takes on what, like, did you ever come up with a take on what you think Agnes and Billy, like what they did?
Oh, I haven't actually.
All right, here's my fucked up take on it.
Okay, tell me.
Agnes and Billy were brother and sister, and they lived in this house, and they had he got her pregnant, and they had a baby, and the baby, like, this is like some horrible Skinamarink style. Like, they kept this dying, like they hid her pregnancy and kept this dying baby in the attic. And it, eventually obviously did not survive. But when they say, there's a line when Billy says, don't tell them what we did with the baby. Agnes, don't tell them what we did with the baby. Like, I think it was siblings and, whatever their capacity was. I don't know what their capacity was. Like, if they had some sort of developmental disability or something, but like there was some sense of they hid something in the attic. Maybe one of the siblings was hid in the attic. And there's like a lot to say here too about like about that, about the sibling locked in the attic, because was that really something that, and I don't condone any of this. I think this was a horrible
Mm-hmm.
shadow of our society, right? Where we're like in the era when these people
Mm-hmm.
were probably children, because this was a movie from the 70s. So when they were children, it was probably, the 40s or the 50s, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there still is a chance that if one of Agnes or Billy had a developmental disability, their parents could have put them in the attic, right? Like that. I think that's horrible and deplorable and a
No,
sickening
but it still
thing,
happens today.
right? Right?
Yeah.
Like that is a
Yeah.
sickening thought, but like that is my theory on Bob Clark's original Black Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I think the origin of Agnes and Billy was.
And for everyone who isn't familiar with the film, um, Billy is the person in the
He's the
attic.
caller. Yeah.
Yeah. But we never meet Agnes. Agnes isn't there. Agnes,
But
we
he
don't,
talks about her.
yeah, like it's not confirmed if like she's real or alive or who is Agnes. It's never confirmed. Um, but you do hear a female on the phone on those weird phone calls. So things escalate. Um, One of the girls who is creeped out by the phone calls early on is suffocated and she's brought into the attic, and we consistently see her in a rocking chair, deceased, with the bag over her head, rocking. That is just a visual that is kind of drawn out throughout the film. And then obviously, well, maybe not obvious, but a lot of the young women do keep going missing, or the sorority sisters just think that they're just taking a nap or they're just like resting in their room.
Oh
But
yeah,
in
yeah,
fact,
yeah. The shit hits the fan over the course of one night.
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like, y'all, I understand respecting boundaries and letting people rest. But when there's creepy stuff going on, let's physically check in on each other.
Spoiler alert: they stabbed Margot Kidder to death with a glass unicorn.
Yeah, they did. The glass
That's a horror.
menagerie.
That's a horrifying movie. The horrifying moment in that movie, rather, too,
Mm-hmm.
because like
Mm-hmm.
there's the it's funny because we did just evergreen alert. It's not really that evergreen, but we just recorded an Amityville related episode. Didn't talk too much about Margot, but there's a scene in the Amityville Horror where Margot wakes up in the middle of the night as Kathy Lutz, and she goes, "Ah, she shot him in the head." But in Black Christmas, there's also a scene when she wakes up in the middle of the night screaming about a murder, and it's almost like this spooky kind of like I don't know. There's something eerie about that. The fact that Margot did two movies like that in a row, both completely kind of set apart in time
Mm-hmm.
periods.
So now that we've walked through LaPlante's case with this frogging behavior, let's talk about the film that intersects with that idea. Movies about intruders living inside someone else's home or exploiting domestic spaces.
Right. So there's, obviously we have Black Christmas, which we already just, dissected. But there are others, before and after. Films that capture the same unsettling intimacy, the idea that the threat isn't outside, it's inside.
And even if some of those movies weren't made with LaPlante in mind, they tap into the same collective unconscious that he seems to embody. Take Parasite, for example. Bong Joon-ho's 2019 Academy Award-winning masterpiece. A family secretly infiltrates another household, living inside walls, manipulating the space for their own survival. He probably wasn't influenced by LaPlante's case, but the psychological resemblance is uncanny.
And, then you have films like Hider in the House from 1989. Gary Busey plays a man who secretly lives in a family's home, observing them. It's almost a textbook cinematic representation of frogging. And while it was made after LaPlante's crimes, you can see how real life stories filter into cultural imagination and inspire art.
Exactly. And then there are smaller, lesser known thrillers too. Movies where the intruder hides in the walls, ducks, or attics. They're all interactions on the same primal fear: someone violating your domestic space without your knowledge. Some are explicitly inspired by crimes, others by earlier films, and some probably by both. So the question is, did LaPlante himself see Black Christmas and could it have inspired his behavior?
Yeah, that's the tricky part. You know, there's no concrete evidence that LaPlante ever watched the film. No court transcripts, no interviews, notes, or witness accounts confirm it. What we do know is that the parallels are eerie. A young intruder living in the attics and walls, targeting young women in a domestic setting. The phone call motif, the attic hiding, the tension created by the unseen presence. I don't know.
Yeah, the pattern's too similar to ignore, but correlation doesn't equal causation. It's possible he absorbed elements from multiple media, maybe other horror films or stories circulating at the time, or maybe it's convergent behavior, the same primal fear shaping fiction and reality.
Yeah. And, if we're looking at the evidence objectively, there's no proof LaPlante saw Black Christmas. But the stylistic and behavioral echoes they're undeniable. The attic, the watching, the private invasion, it's all there.
Yeah. Um, so while, doing my research and reading about the case and rewatching the movie, do you know what connection I made?
No.
I love blowing your mind with these connections. We did an
I
episode. We did an episode.
Shit. Are you gonna connect us to Gainesville?
Yup.
Oh fuck.
Think about
Maybe.
it. Think about it.
No.
He was 20 years old when Black Christmas came out. He
Yeah.
specifically went to a college campus and stalked these women, these young women. He posed their bodies, and if you really rewatch Black
You mean
Christmas, Rolling.
roll.
Yeah, Gainesville.
Yeah. Yo,
Is that what you
totally.
said? Is that what you said?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
totally
right?
could have been connected. Like this dude totally Danny Rolling totally saw Black Christmas.
Invasion of Home.
He
And
loved it,
like,
was it? No, you're blowing my mind again. You are totally
yeah,
blowing my mind because
yeah.
he liked Exorcist. So we know he loved Exorcist 3 Legion, right? So that means he loved horror movies because that was like a
Mhm.
deep cut. That was a deep cut one when it came out, right? Like because nobody really saw
Like,
it.
think about
Right?
it. There's
He
the
saw Black
illusion of
Christmas. Yeah.
safety with the
Yeah.
sorority living, and the illusion of safety between like female roommates and college, group living, and like how that also like creates blind spots of like you think like you know everything that's going on, but like
Do you know?
truly like someone can slip in.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Women's fear being minimized.
That's
Like when women are,
horrifying.
are told they're overreacting. I don't know.
I don't know what to say other than
I
I know,
know, right?
first of all, I'm always like, I am the person who says you're not overreacting. I always believe there's always a motherfucker that's out there that's trying to kill you, right? Like that is the long and
Mhm.
the short. Like I agree with you 100%, and that is chilling, and I am sure, that motherfucker too. I'm so glad he's
Mhm.
dead. But he probably saw this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking that, and then I had to look it up. I was like, how old was he when this came out? Because I know this motherfucker saw this movie.
He did,
It's too
yeah.
similar. It's too
And he liked horror movies.
I
He had
know,
to have
it's
he had to have
too
seen Black
similar.
Christmas. Fucker. Fuck you, Danny Rowling. Fuck you too, Danny
Yeah.
LaPlante. You
Um,
fucker.
right? I know.
Yeah.
I can't
Ah,
stop thinking about it now. I'm just really excited to tell you.
that is really fucking creepy. Ah, God, just to
Yeah.
think about this. But do you think, here, hot take, do you think Ted
Mhm.
Bundy saw this movie? We didn't do a Ted Bundy episode. We
No, we haven't.
might at some point.
I
Maybe.
mean,
We'll do it.
maybe.
I feel like everyone's
Because
done
this is
Ted.
also like one of the first films that really like does the whole like uh what like just females being targeted.
Right. Right. I mean, this really is like OG. I mean,
Yeah.
the short of this, you had you had the movie Peeping Tom, which
Mhm.
was kind of like they call it proto slasher, but like
It wasn't,
this,
like, to this level,
not
though.
to this level. No, this is
And
so nominal. This
I mean,
is seminal.
what year it, like, is in the '70s, right? So and I mean, this movie's so early on also that they're all talking with that, like, goofy fucking, transatlantic accent.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
But,
yeah.
yeah, anyway, I don't know how to move past this because I have been
I'm
thinking
still
about it all week.
I'm really so creeped out by what you just told me that I
I
never
know.
thought that this fucker, he could have rented this and just been sitting in like his
He
like
probably went to the
Gainesville, like,
theater.
yeah, yeah, whoever's doing a run of Black Christmas in Gainesville, right? Oh,
Mhm.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he could
That's
have seen it
really
when it first
spooky.
came out,
Yeah,
you
in
know?
Shreveport.
Yeah.
Oh God, I never thought of that. That's really spooky.
Mhm. You're welcome.
You This is just, oh God, I hate this shit too, because like like you ever think about how many like little kids right now are being inspired, like ones without like the support networks they
Yeah.
need, are being inspired by the shit they're watching. It's like Skibbity Toilet and
I
like
mean, yeah,
fucking
because they're just on the internet. It's so
it's so
different.
dumb. It's like all this brain rot.
It's so
Like
different.
you can have like a Paw Patrol serial killer.
Oh my god, stop. Too
Stop.
real.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
well, alright, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Black Christmas leaves the killer alive and still in the house. LaPlante's early crimes leave the same, like, impression, a predator lingering in the walls and waiting. So why is the idea of, like, he never left so effective with horror and true crime?
Just for that, the fact that they leave an artifact, like
Yeah.
they leave a living artifact. Like even if you don't want to, like even if you get the killer, right? Like
Mhm.
the psychic disturbance that they leave behind is so much stronger. Like even if you don't
Yeah.
believe in ghosts or the paranormal, there's this.
Yeah.
I certainly believe that there is an effect in the energy of what you leave
Mhm.
behind. Like.
Yeah. I mean,
Ugh,
how do you even keep living in a home after you find him in your walls? Like, that's
I don't know,
crazy,
we,
right?
yeah, Amanda, like seriously, somebody's living in the Danny LaPlante house right now. Both the homes,
Mhm.
like the one where
Mhm.
he lived and he terrorized people, but also the one where
Mhm.
he murdered a family. There are people living in those homes, and I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. We are going to do a Richard Chase episode at some point, maybe in season 2. But that apartment where Richard Chase ate baby's
Mhm.
brains, someone's still living in it. But oh God, it's fucking haunting. Uh I don't know.
Yeah,
How do you do it? If you live in a house of a horrific crime, please drop us a line. We want to hear from
yeah.
you. We
Yeah.
really do. Like we are working on this like audience engagement. Like
Mhm.
I have to say too, I want to throw it out there. Thank you. We've been getting some really heartfelt DMs and messages from people. We appreciate you, and you are giving us the most precious thing that you could possibly give in life, which is your time. And thank you for reaching out to us and for providing us clarity on things. And
Yeah.
we appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Going back to what you're saying about folks continuing, like, living in homes where, horrible things have happened. I think thinking about murders, homicides, I think that's a little different in the sense of obviously it's horrific, but the thought of someone with the ability to live in an attic, a crawl space, and just like move within your private safe space, that to me is more horrific than if someone died in a home.
Yeah,
I don't
hey,
know
Amanda,
why. I don't
I
know why, but it's just that the capability is there for someone to exist undetected.
let me ask you something, Amanda. Let
Yeah.
me throw something wild out there. Like Have you ever gotten that feeling of like, have you ever had to let like a friend's pet out or like family like go into someone else's house while they weren't home or like when they were far away
Hmm.
and had to let their pet out or just like do upkeep for them while they're out?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you feel when you do that?
That's a great question. I don't feel as scared.
Okay.
Um, okay. I will tell a quick story. This was actually terrifying. Um, so I was a dog walker and dog sitter at one point. I was between jobs and just wanted some cash, so why not, right? So I am hanging out with this dog, this puppy, cutest little thing. And I take her out for a walk and I come back and open the door and there's a man standing in the apartment. Um, this man was the recent ex of the woman who I was dog walking for, and I was kind of taken aback and I was like, "Oh, hi." And he started questioning me, and it was terrifying because I didn't know, obviously I didn't know who this was, and I'm like, what do I do?" Um, and I yeah, I don't know. It's a long story. But anyway, so yeah, I kind of like that. That was terrifying. Um, I'll tell you off camera what actually happened. I would say if I nothing happened to everyone listening, but I mean in the moment I was obviously texting and I was scared because I was like, who the fuck is this? This unknown person. My safety was for sure yeah.
I have a complete like a flip side. That's horrifying. I'm sorry
Well, yeah,
you went
especially
through that.
because, like,
Yeah.
1, the dog's a puppy, and he
Yeah.
clearly knows the man, so it's not like the dog's gonna protect me, 1. 2,
Right.
for everyone who's just watching this, I'm 4'11". There is not much I can do. I can grab a weapon that's nearby or something to use as a weapon, but, like, when it comes down to it, like,
I
I'm pretty screwed in the
I
grand
just
scheme.
I just don't like being in people's homes without them.
Yeah.
I my perspective on this is like I don't like being in it. Like I still feel like an intruder when you ask me to let your
Mm,
dog out.
mhm.
And I always still I don't know. I have a like this innate sense of paranoia that like maybe I got like a deeper underlying thing going on, right? But
Yeah.
I'm always a very paranoid person, and I don't like being in your house without you there. I don't want to be there. If you're telling me to do it, I'm doing it out of the kindness of my heart to let your fucking dog out, or that's it. If you wanted me to let your baby out, I gotta call CPS. But uh, no, but it's I don't like it.
I know exactly,
I don't like being in
it's
other
it's a
people's
f
spaces. I
but I
like
think
to
it's
give you your privacy. I want you to have your
yeah.
privacy.
I think it's also a sense, though, of you don't know where all the spots are. You don't know all of the doors, all the closets, all the spaces. I think that might have something to do with it because that freaks me out too.
You know what? I'm just thinking now that we're talking about this,
Yeah.
you honestly just stirred this up in me. Barbarian.
Oh my god.
That Zach Kreger movie.
Yeah, no
Shit,
thanks.
We're longtime fans.
Yeah, but
We're gonna make a movie together. All of us, eventually. We're gonna make a
that
movie.
that
Yeah.
basement, I've always been scared of basements since I was a kid. When I was a child, I had this one friend, and he told me that, um this is so stupid, but and this isn't why I'm scared of basements, but it feeds into it. He told me that in my mom's, like, Christmas decoration, like, big plastic containers,
Yeah.
that, vampires lived in them.
Why are we writing a fucking movie about this?
But that
It's
alone
amazing! Zach Kreger! Come on! Pull out! Zach Kreger!
that
Look,
alone
pull up.
freaked me out. It really freaked me out. And so I am still afraid. I'm afraid to go into dark places without the
No, that
lights
makes sense. That's actually pretty scary. There's a movie in that.
on.
There really is. No, that is pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I don't know. Like I do think Black Christmas totally inspired barbarian.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's
You
like
know.
who's lurking in the shadows, and
Right.
you typically don't think anything of it because you know your home, right? But what if someone knows your home better than you do?
I had this nightmare recently. So
Mm-hmm.
back in June, I know you know this. Our fuel tank started leaking like randomly,
Oh yeah.
and we had to get it replaced. And it was like a fucking really big. It was like a really expensive thing. Like not to take it actually out, but like to do all the
Yeah.
fixes and stuff. But I had this nightmare about like the fact that we moved the fuel tank and then there was a door behind it. And then that door led into this whole little world of these people living under Kingston, New York. And I just I don't know. It got under my skin. It wasn't like horror completely. Like it was like kind of like it was just like this old medieval times kind of like society that just they always live under there and they come up when they need things and it like
It's like
scared the shit.
it's like Barbarian meets The Village.
Right. It was like less on the murder. Like they killed like cats and dogs in the neighborhood, which is also
It always
terrifying.
starts with
But
small
like
animals.
yeah, and then eventually they take a like a little succulent child. Yeah, but oh God, I had so many nightmares about that. And then, like, I had this nightmares that the hole just kept going deeper and deeper into the ground, and like it eventually just goes to hell. And like I was like, what the fuck, fuck. Anyway, that's it. No real. I can't sell that.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah. We really veered off. I mean, I'm sorry, I just brought it all
Black
up. But
Christmas,
I know. So anyway,
frogging, Danny LaPlante. Fuck you, Danny,
yeah, Danny LaPlante,
asshole.
or yeah.
My son's middle name,
Oh, I didn't know that.
not LaPlante. Danny.
His
But
middle name LaPlante would be insane. Okay, so LaPlante didn't need a film though to teach us how to invade a home. But when you watch Black Christmas now, or other films like Housebound, Parasite, or Hider in the House, it's impossible to not feel that shiver. The fiction is reflecting something real, something horrifying, and something that already existed in human behavior before the real ever rolled.
that's the unnerving truth, right? Horror and reality aren't separate. Sometimes they're mirrors. Sometimes one predicts the other.
And in Danny LaPlante's case, the mirror is dark, intimate, and terrifying.
And that brings us to the end of tonight's descent into the shadows. From Danny LaPlante's horrifying real-life frogging to the films that echo the terror of someone inside your home.
It's a reminder that walls around us aren't always secure as we think. That domestic spaces, places we assume are safe, can hide unspeakable terror.
And as we hang our stockings and trim the tree this season, just remember the creepiest gift might not be my sinus infection, but the truest horrors are already hiding in the rafters with a hatchet and a wrench in hand.
So keep your doors locked, check the vents twice, and savor the holiday feast. You never know which slice of pie might be your last.
And this has been the Fear Archive.
A sinister season's greetings to you all. Stay spooky, y'all, and we'll see you next time.
You've been listening to The Fear Archive, hosted by Amanda Kagawada and Michael Ryan Aesop, produced by Cassie Josephove, with original music by Umberto. This podcast is a production of Violet Hour Media.